Computer file storage is a complex and powerful system. It contains a multitude of files, applications, libraries, and much more. While users may not need to know how the computer works, as admins, it's beneficial for us to know where files are located and which ones are protected by security systems. This will guide us as we're troubleshooting issues, determining where to store files, and developing security standards to protect organizational data. My name is Corey. Let's go through a brief overview of macOS file storage structure. By default, a macOS storage disk consists of one Apple File System, or APFS, container. This container, otherwise known as a partition, may contain multiple volumes, each with different purposes. The default APFS container is configured with 5 volumes. For today, we'll discuss the system and data volumes. If you'd like more information regarding APFS and the other boot volumes, we encourage you to check out the links in the resources. The system volume contains all of the necessary files to start up the Mac, as well as all of the apps natively installed by macOS. By default, no process, including Apple system processes, can write to the system volume. To maintain system security and stability, these files are shielded from accidental or intentional modification via System Integrity Protection. Only processes signed by Apple, such as Apple software updates and Apple installers, are allowed to modify these protected areas. Even administrators with root-level access can't normally delete or modify these protected items. Because access to the system volume is limited for stability and security, we need somewhere else to store data we want to regularly access, like photos, documents, and apps. The data volume serves that very purpose. It's a separate volume that contains information such as user folders, apps, and other frameworks that may be installed by the user or the organization. We can see a visual representation of these volumes with the Disk Utility app. Disk Utility can be found under Applications in the Utilities folder. Using Disk Utility, we can see our total available storage and how many volumes are sharing that space. Here, the sidebar shows 2 volumes of the default APFS container, the system volume and the data volume. The top volume is the system volume and contains the macOS startup snapshot. The second volume is the data volume, where a majority of our data is stored. So now that we know how our disk is divided, let's take a look at how data is organized and stored using the Finder. Let's open the Finder by clicking its icon in the dock. We want to look at the contents of our APFS container, which is commonly named Macintosh HD. Here we can see Macintosh HD has 4 visible directories: Applications, Library, System, and Users. The Applications and Library directories contain apps and preferences shared by all users on this computer. The System directory contains the system software installed by Apple, including default applications like Calendar and Chess. These files are required by the system to run, and users aren't able to add, delete, or modify any items thanks to System Integrity Protection. So if I try to remove the App Store app by dragging it to the trash, nothing will happen. System Integrity Protection prevents us from accidentally or intentionally removing items that may break how our computer functions. The Users directory contains files and preferences specific to each user on the computer. Each user only has access to their own directory within the Users directory, which prevents them from making changes to a different user's files and preferences. One exception to this is the Shared directory, which all users have access to. This is useful for admins because files that need to be accessed from multiple user accounts can be placed there for everyone to access. As administrators, it's important to know how data is stored, organized, and secured in macOS. With this knowledge, we can navigate the file system with confidence and know where to start if computers experience issues. That's it for our brief overview of macOS file storage structure. We encourage you to explore other videos and keep learning. Thanks for watching.